It's me, your Void, and welcome to my last TBR in this room. First things first, I apologize if the audio is even worse than usual. As you can see, I have started packing my books, and they are my #1 sound suppression system in this room, so who knows how this audio will end up. Second things second, it's April, it's Orilium, that means pain is coming my way. Because if you have been around my channel for a hot second, you will know that I am not doing one but two callings every time Orilium hits, meaning I have to read basically every single book under the sun twice a year. Have I regretted that decision? Yes, ever since I made it. Am I willing to drop one of the callings? No, because this year will mark the 4th time I'm doing this, meaning I will graduate as a master in both demonology and Feywild cartography, and I'm not willing to stop so close to the end. I get to do something else next year. I will do this. But let's stop pushing around the beat and actually tell you what I'm going to read. I have separated this into the Feywild cartographer and the demonologist, so that's what we are going with. Also, because I'm doing two callings, there is some crisscrossing going on, meaning there is book 4 on one TBR and book 2 on the other TBR. Just rest assured I will read shit in order because yeah. Anyway, let's go. Let's start with the Feywild cartographer. The first prompt I have to read for the Feywild cartographer is alchemy, and alchemy wants me to have a title that is in all caps. For that, I chose Exit Strategy by Martha Wells. Now, Exit Strategy is book 4 in the Murderbot Diaries. I have only read Murderbot Diary 1. Again, bear with me here. In the Murderbot Diaries, we follow Murderbot, who is a android human clone thing, and technically it is supposed to murder everything in sight of a person they have been assigned to protect. The thing is, Murderbot at one point hacked its own systems and is now completely autonomous and has free will. And what is it doing with this free will? Watching interstellar television dramas. I feel you, Murderbot, I feel you. Probably would do the same. And in the Murderbot Diaries, we just follow Murderbot's exploits throughout the galaxy, the universe, what do I know. I take it that a lot of the situations Murderbot finds itself in are contradictory to what it wants, which is watching television and do nothing else. So I guess shenanigans will ensue. I don't know. The second prompt I have to do for Feywild cartography is animal studies, and in animal studies we are supposed to steal a book from another person's TBR. I actually did go to the Discord and asked the clarifying question, does it have to be an Orilium TBR? Does it have to be a TBR for this specific round of Orilium? And the answer I have been provided with is steal from whatever TBR you feel comfortable stealing with. But because I had to wait approximately 3 minutes for this answer, and I am an impatient bitch, I also stalked people who were able to make their TBR in like the first 30 seconds after the announcement went live, and I took some screenshots, namely this one, from a person in the Discord server who made their TBR within approximately 30 seconds of the announcement video dropping. And as you can see, Scythe and Sparrow is in that TBR. So I will be reading Scythe and Sparrow, the 3rd installment in the Ruinous Love trilogy by Brynne Weaver. I am very excited for this one, because I am a huge fan of Butcher and Blackbird and Leather and Lark. And this is the 3rd brother we're following, so of course I had to get this. For the uninitiated, the Ruinous Love trilogy is serial killer romances. We follow serial killers who are falling in love with people. In the first book we have 2 serial killers falling in love, Butcher and Blackbird. In the second book we have a serial killer falling in love with a contract killer, and in this book we have a doctor falling in love with a serial killer who is also a circus performer. Variety! Right? Him. Fionn Kane is running from a broken heart, one he hopes to mend in Nebraska, far from his almost fiancé and his derailed surgical career. It is a simpler life. Head down, hard work, absolutely no romantic relationships. He wants none of the circus he left behind in Boston. But then the Silvera Circus finds him. Performer Rose Evans has spent a decade on the road with Silvera, and it suits her just fine, especially when she has the urge to indulge in a little murder and mayhem. But when a kill goes awry and she ends up with an injured leg, Rose finds herself stuck at the home of an adorably nerdy town doctor. Problem is, not every broken heart can be sewn back together, and the longer you stay in one place, the more likely your ghosts are to catch up. Very excited for this one, even though the trigger warnings are like nothing compared to Butcher and Blackbird. I am actually of the semi-controversial opinion that Butcher and Blackbird had the best trigger warnings and the best execution of said trigger warnings. But yeah, there will be more eyeballs. I also find it kind of poetic that a sparrow is in the title. When it's animal studies, I have to read this for. Next prompt is astronomy, which is another color wheel. I hate color wheels, but here we go. For once in my life, I didn't land on red. Instead, we get orange. Okay, close enough, I guess. For orange, I picked Artificial Condition by Martha Wells, the second Murderbot diary. There is not much to say. I already told you what Murderbot is about when I talked about the other Murderbook bot. Yes, when I talked about the other Murderbot book on my TBR. Next. Then we come to the subject that I have a love-hate relationship with, which is why I take it so often. Demonology! Demonology this year wants me to read something that features a missing person. I might have stretched that a little bit for this one, because I'm going to read Ashes of the Sun by Django Wexler. Now, technically the missing person isn't missing, but also technically they are. Let me read you the blurb and you might understand. 400 years ago, a cataclysmic war cracked the world open. Amid the ashes, the Dawn Republic now stands guard over lands littered with eldritch relics, cursed by plague spawn outbreaks. But a new conflict is brewing, and brother and sister Gaia and Maya have found themselves on opposite sides of it. At age 5, Maya was taken by the Twilight Order and trained to be a centaur, wielding forbidden arcana to enforce the Dawn Republic's rule. On that day, her brother Gaia swore to destroy the order that stole his sister, whatever the cost. 12 years later, brother and sister are two very different people. She is the Twilight Order's brightest prodigy. He is a thief, bandit, and revolutionary. Together, the siblings will discover that not even ties of blood will keep them from splitting the world in two. Now, I am banking on, at the age of 5, Maya was taken by the Twilight Order, and on Gaia swore to destroy the order that stole his sister. I count that as a missing person, because Gaia has no idea where they took his sister. I count that as a missing person, and I will read Ashes of the Sun by Django Wexler because of it. This means this is the second time this is landing on an Orilium TBR for me. The last time I had this on, it was for something that has a circle on the cover, I think. I just didn't have time to read it then, and I switched it out for like a novella, I think. I don't know, I don't care. It's on my TBR this time around, and I actually want to read it this time. I mean, I did want to read it last time as well, but last time there were like so many big books, and I'm babbling. Let's move on. Next up is Elemental Studies, which wants me to read something with a fruit on the cover. This prompt gave me a minor headache because I'm not usually someone who reads a lot of books that feature fruit on the cover, but I found one. You have to stick with me here because it is Odd Ordeals by Riley Odell. This is a comedy novella, I think? This blurb, y'all. A woman is tormented by evil bananas. A man investigates the mystery of his disappearing genitals. A husband and wife fight to save their children from the Easter Bunny. In these wild tales of humor and horror, you'll discover bloody mishaps, anatomical absurdities, and more weird sex than you can shake a dick at. Do you dare to explore these odd ordeals? Well, children getting kidnapped by the Easter Bunny. At least it's in season, right? That's about all I know about this thing. So, here we go! And then we come to Inscription, the one prompt I have not yet filled out for a reason. The Inscription prompt is basically the way I determine my next read when I'm mood reading, and it's the first sentence challenge. So we are tasked to take three books, and read the first sentence and determine which one of these will go into the TBR. So I have 3 books right here. They are all very colorful. That is the only pre-picking I did. I only was like, you look interesting, you look interesting, you look interesting. Let's read the first sentences. Let's start with Flawless by Elsie Silver. You got one angry motherfucker here, Eaton. Solid. Next one. The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston? Poston, right? I think it's Poston. I'm not sure. Yes, Poston. Ashley Poston. Okay, this one kind of has a prologue. So I'm going to read the first sentence of the prologue and the first sentence of chapter 1. Because I'm an indecisive bitch. In the back left corner of the days gone funeral home, underneath the loose floorboard, there was a metal box with a bunch of old journals inside. That's rather intriguing. Every good story has a few secrets. Now it's even more intriguing. And the third choice I have is Death of a Bookseller by Alice Slater. It hurts to look at this book. I don't know if the camera picks it up, but oh my god, it is so neon. Okay, this one has a prologue too. So again, first sentence of the prologue and first sentence of chapter 1. Laura Bunting. That's it. That's the whole sentence. It's the name and can't really glean anything from that. Chapter 1. The neon lights that top the dome of Brighton Academy glowed like the projectile vomit from The Exorcist. So like this book? Okay, and now I'm tasked with deciding between these three. They are all amazing in their own right, I have to say. I like me some vulgar expressions. I like me some overly specific kind of poetic writing. And I mean, that's just funny. What am I in the mood for? I mean, romance, and I think this is a thriller-ish. What else is on my TBR? I should not put another romance on here, but I really wonder. I'm really intrigued by Dead Romantics, so I think I'm gonna pick up Dead Romantics. I think we're gonna go with Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston for this prompt. Yay! Romance is dead, but this isn't what she had in mind. Florence Day is the ghostwriter for one of the most prolific romance authors in the industry, and she has a problem. After a terrible breakup, she no longer believes in love. It's as good as dead. When her new editor, a too handsome mountain of a man, won't give her an extension on her book deadline, Florence prepares to kiss her career goodbye. But then she gets a phone call she never wanted to receive, and she must return home for the first time in a decade to help her family bury her beloved father. For 10 years, she's run from the town that never understood her, and even though she misses the sound of a warm southern night and her eccentric loving family and their funeral parlor, she can't bring herself to stay. Father's gone, yet everything else feels the same, and she hates it. Until she finds a ghost standing at the funeral parlor's front door, just as broad and infuriatingly handsome as ever, and he's just as confused about why he's here as she is. Romance is most certainly dead, but so is her new editor, and his unfinished business will have her second-guessing everything she's ever known about love stories. Nice! And the last prompt for the Feywild cartographer is shapeshifting, where we need to read something with a dragon in it, because this year's theme for Orilium is dragons. We are trying to save some. So it has to be a book with dragon in the title, dragon in the blurb, dragon in the story, just featuring dragons in some shape, way, form, whatever. And I picked The Bone Ships by R.J. Barker. R.J. Barker. Woof woof. Two nations at war, one prize beyond compare. For generations, the 100 Isles have built their ships from the bones of ancient dragons to fight an endless war. The dragons disappeared, the battle for supremacy persisted. Now the first dragon in centuries has been spotted in a thaw-off waters, and both sides see a chance to shift the balance of power in their favor, because whoever catches it will win not only glory, but the war. That is legit all I know about this book, but ships made of dragonbound sounds kind of amazing. Theme shift over to my demonology career, I guess. A couple of prompts from the Feywild cartographer double up in the demonologist, so we will see some repeat in the prompts, but since we're not technically allowed to double up, new books. Here we go. First up is Conjuration, with the worst version of the color wheel / random number generator, in my opinion, because it is a random country generator. Technically, you're supposed to Google a random country generator and then generate 5 different countries and see what you can find from there. I, again, stretched that a little because I'm moving, so just going, picking up new books, finding new books, is kind of hard to do. So I went through all of my books, even before I packed them up. I went through all of these books and I found out every single nation I have on my unread TBR, and I put them all in a wheel and I spun the wheel, and this is what happened. I landed on Nigeria. So for Nigeria, I picked up one of my ebooks. I have way too many of them. I picked up Just for the Cameras by Viano Oniomoh. I am so sorry if I pronounced that wrong. So sorry. Which is a throuple romance situation, I think. Sex worker couple Kian Kalu and Jordan Day decide to fantasize about their hot, untouchable flatmate and best friend, Luca Prince, just once, just to scratch the itch. They totally don't want anything else from Luca, not his body, nor his heart. The last thing Luca expects to come home to is his two sexy flatmates and best friends getting frisky underneath their blanket on the living room sofa. And for the first time in a long time, Luca lets himself want. It was supposed to be one video for Jordane's and Kian's subscribers. One video, no strings attached. Except now, Jordan and Kian don't know how to let Luca go. Not after they know how fucking perfect he feels between them. And Luca feels like maybe he can risk getting his heart broken again if it means he gets to have Jordan and Kian forever. So pretty much what I said it would be, a throuple romance situation. Given that these people are also sex workers, I take it this is going to be a rather smutty ride. But hey, we're doing demonology, so sin all you want, I guess. Which makes this shift in theme kind of weird. Because for the next prompt, we're going back to demonology, meaning I have to read something with a missing person in it. And I picked up Amari and the Night Brothers? You know, the middle grade thing? By B.B. Alston. Why did I pick this up? Technically there is no real reason, but also there kind of is. Because my best friend usually runs to me when it's time for her cousin's birthdays, and they want books, but she has no experience with books for younger children, and like middle grade and YA age children. So she always runs to me and I'm like, I guess I can get you some recommendations, but it's like the same 3 books I always recommend because I don't read that much middle grade. So I was like, might as well start reading more middle grade to help her out, I guess. So that's the backstory of why I picked up Amari and the Night Brothers. Also, people say it's good, so Amari Peters has never stopped believing her missing brother, Quinton, is alive. Not even when the police told her otherwise, or when she got in trouble for standing up to the bullies who said he was gone for good. So when she finds a ticking briefcase in his closet containing a nomination for a summer tryout at the Bureau of Supernatural Affairs, she's certain the secretive organization holds the key to locating Quinton. If only she can wrap her head around the idea of magicians, fairies, aliens, and other supernatural creatures being real. Now she must compete for a spot against kids who've known about magic their whole lives. No matter how hard she tries, Amari can't seem to escape their intense doubt and scrutiny, especially once a supernaturally enhanced talent is deemed illegal. With an evil magician threatening the supernatural world and her own classmates thinking she's an enemy, Amari has never felt more alone. But if she doesn't stick it out and pass the tryouts, she may never find out what happened to Quinton. There you have it, missing brother. Another repeat offender, elemental studies. Again, I need a fruit on the cover, and this time I picked a physical read for that. The only physical read available to me with the fruit on the cover. Wicked Beauty by Katee Robert. This is the 3rd book in the Dark Olympus series, where we retell Greek god love stories, but we make it a modern mafia-esque situation. In Wicked Beauty, we follow Helen and Patroclus and Achilles, and they will end up in a throuple situation because we cannot kill Patroclus in this one. She was never ours to claim. In Olympus, you either have the power to rule or you are ruled. Achilles Callus may have been born with nothing, but as a child he vowed he would claw his way into the poisonous city's inner circle. Now that the coveted role has opened to anyone with the strength to claim it, he and his partner Patroclus Photos plan to compete and double their odds of winning. Neither expected infamous beauty Helen Cassios to be part of the prize, or the complicated fire that burns the moment she looks their way. Zeus may have decided Helen is his to give away, but she has her own plans. She enters the competition as a middle finger to the meddling 13 rulers, effectively vying for her own hand in marriage. Unfortunately, there are those who would rather see her dead than leading the city. The only people she can trust are the ones she can't keep her hands off of, Achilles and Patroclus. But can she really believe that they have her best interest at heart when every stolen kiss is a battlefield? Given that this is a Katee Robert, this too will probably be a kind of smutty situation we're going in. I am kind of interested in seeing what this competition is, given that there is no real supernatural element to these retellings. And I am usually not a fan of competition things, so this will be an interesting combination of things. Next up is lore, and for lore, we finally have to actually read something that is not actual lore of the world of Orilium. This time we have to read something with a musical element in the title. What kind of musical element that is completely irrelevant, but I went for the most straightforward version of fulfilling this prompt, which is Little Song of Pain by Clio Evans. This is the 6th installment in the Creature Cafe series. I love the Creature Cafe series, and I love Clio Evans' novellas. The Creature Cafe series is basically a bunch of novellas where we follow monsters falling in love with humans, and they are paired up in various ways through the barista who can read their souls, and his sole mission in life is to make coffee and make people date each other. The sixth one specifically, I believe, is two Phoenix shifters and a human? I'm not quite sure. Creatures of all kinds go to the barista to find love, including the fiery phoenix twins known as Icarus and Dalos. Icarus claims that he wants to find a soulmate for Dalos, when really he is searching for someone that can take the heat of both of them. Someone who likes to play with fire and will let them kiss the burns. The barista introduces the two of them to Melody, a brilliant and sweet human who has known about monsters her entire life and has always wanted to live out her darkest fantasies. The three of them immediately fall headfirst into a passion that could set the world on fire. Troubles are brewing around them, eager to silence their new song of love. When dark events occur, they find that their bonds can help them rise from the ashes. And that is all you get in terms of plot, because Clio Evans is amazing at writing smut, amazing at writing monster smut, but not so good at writing plot. The shapeshifting one. Again, I need something that in some way, shape, or form features dragons, and I went with The Dragon of New Orleans by Genevieve. Jack. That name. In this one, I believe we follow a dragon shifter who falls in love with a human, and I guess it takes place in New Orleans. I'm not quite sure. A deadly curse. For 300 years, Gabriel Blakemore has survived in New Orleans after a coup in his native realm of Paragon scattered him and his dragon siblings across the globe. Now, a jealous suitor's voodoo curse threatens to end his immortal existence. His only hope is to find an antidote, one that may rest in a mortal woman, a life-saving gift. After 5 years of unsuccessful treatment for her brain cancer, death is a welcome end for Raven Tanglewood. Her illness has become a prison her adventurous spirit cannot abide. Salvation comes in the form of Gabriel, who uses dragon magic to save her. A harrowing price. To Raven, the bond that results from Gabriel's gift is another kind of captivity. Can Gabriel win Raven's love and trust in time to awaken her life-saving magic within her? Or will his fiery personality and possessive ways drive her from his side and seal his fate? There is literally nothing else I can say about this. It's a dragon falling in love with a human in New Orleans. The last prompt I have to fulfill is spells and incantations, and for this one I cheated so hard, because the prompt is to read something that has a word in the title that was also featured in the title of the last book you read. Now, the way we were allowed to go about this is the last book you read before watching the announcement video, the last book you read whenever. So I said to myself, hey, what if I legit just stage my reading? So there are at least 2 books I have to read in order so I can make this work. This one being the second. Because I decided for this prompt, I want to read Rogue Protocol by Martha Wells, which is the 3rd Murderbot book. And I kind of double cheated for that, because not only am I going to read this after another book on my Orilium TBR, but also it's not necessarily the word in the title that I'm copying and pasting here. It's more the subtitle, you know, the Murderbot Diaries part that is on both of these titles. I counted. It's on the fucking cover. And I also asked a couple of friends if that would count, and they said yes, so I tagged that enabling, and that's it. 13 books to finally graduate with this stupid TBR I have to deal with twice a year. This round, next round, and we're good. Now, of these 13 books, I can only hold up 4 because they are all digital copies. Because again, at the beginning of the month, I am moving, so my access to my physical books is kind of restricted for the first week or 2 weeks of Orilium. So I deliberately went more in the ebook audiobook direction with my picks, meaning I only have 4 books to hold up right now for what is easily the biggest TBR of the year for me. Sucks to suck, I guess. But yeah, that's it for this video. That's my TBR. If you made it this far, leave a crystal ball or magician emoji down in the comments, or tell me if you have read any of the books on my TBR, if you love them, if you hated them, what is your Orilium TBR if you are participating. Yeah, guess I'll see you in the next video. Bye!